Hello everyone, this is going to be another video on Starcraft 2 beta, and this is my third attempt at commentating this video. Stupid recording software just keeps screwing up on me. Well, actually it's my own mistakes, but I can blame the software because I can do whatever I want. I am spawning as Terran in the 12 o'clock position, and in the 6 o'clock is my Zerg opponent. And I realized my last replay was a TvZ, which can be kind of boring because it's really just kind of about positioning and building up mass and expanding. There's not a whole lot of non-stop action going on, so after I played this match I decided it was a good one to throw up just because of the amount of action that happens. So I didn't see an Overlord coming from the 2 o'clock in here, and I did scout the 9 o'clock this way. Normally, if he was in one of those bases, I'd scout his spawning pool to see if he's going for a rush, but now that I know he's cross-positioned, I feel I don't have to scout him. I'm just going to go straight for the fast expand, because he has a long run to get to my base. I am all over his scout drone. I don't want him to harass this SCV. So he does send out his first 4 zerglings, and they're going to arrive, excuse me, right around the time of my SCV transfer. So I do pull my SCVs, and I send them to take these high minerals, expecting the zerglings to fall back to attack either my fortress or my wall. But as a change, they actually continue to follow my SCVs, which is probably equally as effective. I mean, yeah, I'm not having to spend money on repairing because of this, but at the same time I do have 6 SCVs, well probably 7 because he's killed one already, not really doing anything. But at this point I can send them back to mine from my expansion, because by the time they get here they'll be well protected by my planetary fortress. So in go my marines, and down go his zerglings. You can see I have a huge harvester advantage because he's had to spend all this larva on zerglings, thinking he can end the game. Of course, this is one of the major advantages of my build, as it's so unique. People don't know how to react to it, and his reaction was, I'm going to win this game right now with a massive zerglings. He even has another pool of zerglings here, and he loses a good portion of them right there, and then now he starts pounding on my wall. So of course, this is a pretty late attack on my wall. I already got my first marine coming out. I think I was even late to make that marine. And just as an FU to these zerglings, I destroy their escape route by blocking it off with the supply depot. Yes, this is also to stop the bailing bus, but this is more just to stick it to these zerglings. And they decide they don't want to die from machine gun fire, and they'd rather squirm and get burned alive. Seriously, I think a bullet to the head would have made a lot more sense. At least go down fighting, not running away and squirming to death. So I guess at this point he's switching up to harvesters. Notice he's already taking the harvester lead. Man, Zerg is so good at pumping out units. Zerg is probably the best economic race in this game. If you try to go heads up with them, economy versus economy, they'll always win because they can get their harvester count up so fast. Even faster than Protoss, who, if they dedicate all their chrono boost to pumping probes, still a lot faster. And one of the counters to my strategy would be if you continue to keep expanding, because he can economy up faster, meaning there really is not much of a threat. And then of course Terrans have no advantage in pumping out more harvesters, but that is compensated by the fact that we can get mules. And that is the Blizzard balancing. Yay! Anyways, back to the game. Yeah, I've scanned his main base and his expansion, and I have not seen any tech. This Hydrostan was not there at the time. And the reason I didn't see any tech is because he started pooping out creep over here and built his spire off in the corner. And this is something, as a Zerg player, you guys should really do. It's super annoying as Terran. Now I don't know what I'm up against. All I saw was the lair. So I gotta defend a little bit of everything. I'm setting up air turrets here and there to defend against mutas. I'm throwing up supply depots in the corners to look for nidus worms. And I'm trying to get up a big fleet to handle a big push or a big drop. And really, when you have to plan for everything, you're really not planning well enough for any of them. It's kind of like that phrase, jack of all trades, master of none. Yeah, I'd rather be a master of muta defense than having to guess what it could be and trying to defend everything, because it's just not good. However, I did think at some point, I may have already done it, but I scan his base as mutas are flying by, so I do know that there's mutalisks on the way. Has that happened? Yes. Let's see, 67 in my orbital. I don't know. Yes, I did notice already, because I threw up a second turret here, and a second turret here, and a second turret here. I keep this area a little bit barren, but that's okay, because this is where I keep my marine army. I use this more just to funnel the mutalisks into the area I want to attack them. But now that I got medevacs out, I find this is kind of my peak in the game. This is where I can take over. He has been throwing changelings at me the whole time. I've caught most of them. This one's followed me for a little while. After you kill a unit, a final unit, it's good. It's better actually to either stay still or to bait going in the direction you're not going. So he retained sight here for a couple seconds afterwards. So had I like fainted moving down, he would probably prepare for an attack. But instead I moved up and he knew I was just clearing out my third expansion. I do have my scouts at this point. I got my factory scouting these two right bases. I got a marine patrolling these two left bases. I've taken this Selnaga, and I've moved my entire fleet to this Selnaga. And I believe I got sight on the creep here. That was pretty successful there. Slow it down to normal speed. And you even have reinforcements coming from the top, which come in handy because it gives me a little bit of almost a surround between the two. Unfortunately, my marines are mostly getting knocked down, and marauders are not good versus hydralisks. And this is a problem I have this entire game, is I always have too much marauders. And in fact, you should have 0 marauders unless you know that he's making either roaches, banelings, or ultralisks. Because versus hydras, I mean, you don't get the bonus attack from the marauders because they're light units, and marines do very well versus hydras. So if I'm facing hydras and mutalisks, I mean, I should just be going straight marines and medics. So I am floating to take my third. I send in the marauder to finish off his extractors here. As it turns out, he is making an expansion. And the funny thing is, I never really pay attention to this area, and neither does my opponent. And this marauder just sits here, not attacking the hatchery for a long time. He does spot that my army's still here with his overseer. Although I am sending my reinforcements here. You have to be careful sending reinforcements now using the rally command on your barracks, because these units move using the movement command now instead of the attack move command. Meaning, if I have them rallied here and they run into a fleet of Zerg, they'll just continue to walk right by the Zerg and get this massacre instead of stopping to attack. I really hate that change, and I hope the Blizzard switches it back. I don't really understand the reason for that. I would say the majority of the time you'd want your units on attack mode. So even with all my reinforcements coming this direction, this battle does not go well, mostly because I'm too heavy in marauders, and fighters take me down pretty well. And I am 2-2 upgrade, I have the upgrade advantage, but it's not like I'm at game 0-0, which I often am in games. The Zerg has actually gotten 2 upgrades on his attack. Now I am forced back to my main, and still making more marauders. Stupid, stupid.